Hello, everybody, and I'm Alexis Moon, and this is the beautiful Sharne Young, and we are doing sparking conversations. So, I have been blessed with being able to interview Miss Sharne Young. I just should have checked if that was a Mrs. Anyway, not bad.
Miss.
Miss.
Mhm.
She is the beautiful author of, get the lighting right on
See
this.
if you can see it on this one.
Oh, beautiful that way. Yes.
Okay.
The author of the channeled Galaxy Oracle cards. She is a creative channel, angel intuitive. She's a writer. She's an author. She's a Reiki master and psychic medium. She is a magical woman.
And I
So,
also authored this one.
the ancient. I did see something about
Mm, yeah,
that.
there we go.
Anyway, so she's like all the things. We've never met before, but she's amazing as far as I'm concerned. Everybody has these beautiful sparks, and she is amazing. And we were discussing just before about the whole label thing, which I've struggled with, and it seems to be a thing because
Yep.
we don't like labels.
No.
Labels are trying to define, and you're trying to put yourself in a box, but we can't be constrained by boxes. We're outside of the box. So it is very interesting. So, Miss Sharne Young, please
Yeah.
share a little bit about you, if you'd like. And I know you've done some writing, and you're also a Holistic Bliss magazine contributor. She's
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's get into whatever we want to talk about.
Well,
Share a little
okay.
bit about yourself, please, darling.
Right. A little bit about myself. Gosh, where do I start?
Well, we could go back to the beginning, but I did that. I did that with
We'll skip
Lindy,
all
and
that.
that took a while.
We'll skip all that. Um, well, I guess with the all of those labels, I've done all sorts of things. I'm in my 50s, and I've done all kinds of things throughout, well, since childhood. Um, and when I mean things,
Let's give some
talking
context.
talking to so the first time I um, met, and I believe it was Archangel Gabriel, was when I was 12, and I was in a very bad headspace at the time, and it's in the book I wrote, The Ancients. My dad had died the funeral was on my 10th birthday, and my mum was struggling. We were all struggling, and I was severely bullied at school because I was, one of those indigo kids that picks up on everybody's emotions, yet this face is smiling.
Yep.
Um, so I was really badly bullied. I was hypersensitive, and I thought I'd just walk in front of a truck and end it. So I was suicidal at the age of 12.
Wow.
And I thought, when I saw this amazing being standing, they were standing under a tree and they came towards me. And I thought that I'd actually walked out in front of the truck. There was a car that was going past. It was a car. And I didn't, obviously. And this beautiful archangel started singing to me. And so I used to sing to myself. I'd hum to myself, and I'd sing as a kid whenever I was low, and I'd always feel that presence. And so I was very big in my 20s into the whole Gabriel on one side, Archangel Michael on the other, constantly supporting, and they support everybody. So talking directly to them a lot, and then oddly enough talking to Jesus a lot, and yeah, it sort of went from there. My mum was very spiritual as well, and was very much on huge journeys. Became a Raja yogi while I was a teenager around that time for her own health, and so I learned how to open eye meditate and talk to even more beings. So yeah, it's been quite an esoteric journey for a while there. for a long while there. I didn't do anything. I refused. I ignored it all in my 30s. I was in that space. And then started to pick up again in my 40s. And so, yeah, I did my Reiki masters and met some wonderful people. Also did serenity vibration healing, couple of levels with that. And it's a really instant healing modality, incredible power behind it, incredible energy. And that's really cleared a lot of crap for me. There's obviously also always more, because when you're a spiritual person and you're doing all of this stuff, but you've usually got, not many of us get to live it day in, day out and just be in that space. We've got to, some of us have to go to work, and that's a different kind of energy.
And get all the other things like family and
Yeah.
children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, in my other life, I'm a wife and I'm a nurse. I'm an infection control nurse. So COVID was quite a challenge for me. I had a bit of a burnout with that, only because, as an infection control nurse, you're constantly promoting vaccination. You know what's going on behind the scenes. You know how big and dangerous it is. Not just the disease or the disease over the vaccine. And yet I've got a lot of friends who are anti-vaxxers. So all of that just compounded on me, and I started to question all sorts of things. So anyway, that's what I that's my other job. Yeah. So I had have a real connection with my mum. And when mum was alive, she died in 2018. But she'd been writing stories, channeled information, actually. She'd just snap and go into it almost like a trance-like state and just start writing. And beings were coming to her and telling her their stories, a bit like you're doing with me at the moment, Alexis. And some of them were very one-sided conversations. Some of them would sit for her and she'd draw them. Others, it was, it'd be reams and reams and reams of incredible, tragic sort of stories, which she turned into a manuscript called Stories Beyond the Stars. And
Lovely.
no, not a single publisher would take on the book.
Wow. And what year was that? Like, was it in
This was, she started writing in the mid-90s, and gave up trying to get them published by about 2010. She couldn't afford to self-publish. So it just sat there.
It's very different now, isn't it?
Yeah. She had a blog that she tried to do, but I was the only one that read it.
Oh.
So I inherited the manuscripts, and I was sitting down one day reading them, and I had this thought pop into my head, whether it was me or my mum, I don't know. But I thought I can convert these into tarot, into oracle cards. A lot of them had morals to the stories. I changed them. I had to, because some of them were very long and I had a word limit. And I wanted to spin them a bit differently. Some of them were super tragic. Obviously, the planet had blown up or what have you. So I had to rearrange them a bit. But yeah, and then I started painting. Once the story had come through, I started painting tried to encapsulate the whole meaning of the story. And so half of the oracle cards are my mum's stories, the other half are mine. And I do something similar where I'll go into, I'll sit quietly, I'll set up my space so that I'm about to channel, or it'll just come to me and I go, I've got to write. So a lot of the stories I was writing, a lot of that creativity sort of happened in little patches of weekends over a couple of weeks sort of thing. So it wasn't a huge, long, drawn out process. Yeah. And some of them were dreams I'd had, some of them were visualizations of meditations and things I'd had over the years. So that's how the cards came to be. And I love painting, even though my paintings are very whimsical, and I I went to there's an artist up here in Mount Dandenong who does fine art, and hers is like, you'd think you were touching somebody when you look at the painting. It's incredibly clear. And I showed her some of mine, and the look on her face was like, yes, well,
Oh
it's acquired
dear.
taste. So yeah, it was very funny. So
Well,
yeah, mine are,
that's that, to be honest, like, because I've seen a lot of different stuff over the years, and there's something about yours. To be honest, I don't really care what other people do,
oh
but
no, but you know what I mean.
yeah, and everyone's got an opinion, and as soon as you show them something, and I think it's hard when you are an artist and in either writing or painting or whatever it is, and you just want to show this and share this to the world, and then you get that kind of like, oh,
Mm.
I think that's quite sad. But I absolutely adore these. Like I look at them and like this one here, you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like all in good time. You just there's so many wonderful stories in here, and I mean I've only just touched the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. But this one, I had this one come up in a reading. It's
Oh
the
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
welcome home and that safety aspect. I'm like, just it's just so wholesome, and I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. And
thank you.
yeah, I think. Uh, I don't know if you've heard of Leanne Peters. She's down in Tasmania, last I heard.
No. Mhm.
Anyway, she's got some stuff, and her stuff is quite different too.
Mm.
Um, Similar kind of vein, but different. And I just think when you are able to actually express and not do it in a mainstream kind of way, or how it's palatable for everybody, those that need it, want it, will get it. And
Mm.
those that are drawn to the energy of these, like, oh, just that light. Like honestly, the as soon as I got them, I'm like, they are amazing. And
Yeah, thank you.
there's not that many Oracle decks that I go, oh my God, they're amazing. I mean, I've got about 40 or 50. It's only a
Yeah,
slight obsession.
yeah. I haven't got that many, but 20 maybe.
But it's sometimes it get hard because you go, oh, what cards should I play with today? Or, for readings or and go, and I have to actually just go, let me close my eyes and put my hands. Is it on this section? Is it this section? Who knows? But either way, it happens. Oh, but anyway, continue. I can't remember. Where were we? I got
Um,
distracted by the cards.
well, I'll pull out one.
Hmm.
So this one, I hope you can see it.
New ones.
So you can, yeah, D1s. So this one,
Life purpose.
it's about
Beautiful.
life purpose, but it's all swirly, swirly lines, and you can see the being's eyes.
Hmm.
They're all swirly.
Yeah.
Um, that was actually, and I know this is going to sound weird,
Hmm.
um, but it was quite a hard story to write about because it really is on a higher level
Hmm.
around life purpose. And my mother came through,
Mm.
and I was reminded of when after my mum died a few days after, and I was searching for her on the etheric plane, and this face came up at me, and that was all swirly lines and sort of squiggly, um, energetic sort of stuff coming out of the head, and but the swirly eyes, and I really didn't want to admit that that was my mother being,
Mm.
going through a transition. But it was. So I thought I would draw her.
Mm.
So that is actually my mum.
Wow.
Yeah. Bit stylized, but yeah.
Yeah,
So the
she almost
heart
looks like she's got
opening.
wings.
Oh yeah, she has.
Yeah.
The heart opening, the wings,
Yeah.
um, the crown chakra opening, the
Hmm.
connections, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah. Um, so some of the cards have
Hmm.
um, quite a few meanings. The one you keep bringing up, safety, welcome
Hmm.
home.
Yeah.
Um,
It's I I had some real synchronistic. There was something else that happened that day when I was doing the
Yeah.
readings,
Yeah.
and it was like I just had this picture and was connecting to like galactic stuff as well as like I just pulled this card and it just there's no such thing as things that aren't meant to happen. So
Mm.
anyway, continue because I'd love to hear about that story too.
Um, well, this one was around, it was a direct interview that my mother had obviously received come
Mhm.
through, and trying to sort of bring in that feeling of that story and visualize what was happening. And the only way I could do it was to have the floater,
Mhm.
the person that was sort of stuck out away from safety.
Mhm.
And yet really he is safe, or
Mhm.
she is safe. So because she's all enclosed and she's got lights and all that sort of stuff. So I really took a lot of pleasure in drawing that one
Mhm.
and then painting it. Yeah. And um, just trying to find another one. This is Tribe, and I get this one a lot. This is
Mhm.
Hatara. You said it correctly.
Yay.
Yay. And I don't know whether you can see there's little feathered dresses on them. So
Yeah.
they've got clothing on them, but it's very, very, it's meant to sort of feel
Yeah.
way back in the past.
Mhm.
Um, and you can sort of see the dots are more people,
Mhm.
more guides,
Yeah.
and connections and things.
Mhm.
But this was one of my stories, and it was from the experience of a rebirth, a past life regression, and um, the story was a lot longer than obviously it is in the
Mm.
cards, but it was about a healer who, within her tribe of American Indians, God, I don't know how long ago, around the last ice age. But yeah, that one was around her life and how she sort of connected with her family and took care of her family,
Mm.
and passed on that knowledge as she went. So,
Yeah.
and how important family was to her. So, this sort of couple of the cards anyway.
Mm.
Yeah. And it's, so this is the one my mum painted.
Oh,
And I actually
wow.
have the original sitting in my lounge room
Yeah.
because it's a lot bigger.
There's a
Yeah.
lot in that.
Yeah. I had to enhance it a little
Mhm.
because it didn't come up well on the original print. But
Leadership. Yeah, that's
leadership, yeah.
wow. Do you want to talk
Ulick of
about
the
that
Grail.
story? Because I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. I can read it to you. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
okay. Let me see if I can find him. Where is he? Number 13. I have to put my glasses on too. Thing about creating, I like to create and I love to write and I love to paint and I love to sew and all of those things. I don't like to sell. So unless it's other people's stuff, you know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah, I get it.
okay. So this is Ulick of the Grell, leadership. Food was very scarce in the compound, with only enough for a daily meal. The Grell had been trained since birth to believe that outside the compound was unsafe. Ulick felt that Grell was supposed to fly free and to grow big and strong. At night, he would glide alone outside the compound and always come back with a full belly. One night, Ulick was spied by an eminent senior who had been gliding from a high peak nearby. The senior followed Ulick, although afraid she was not as good at gliding as he. The senior joined Ulick, and they landed on a ridge. Ulick showed the senior the food he had found that was full of taste and nutrients, enough to feed all the Grell if harvested properly. The senior murmured praise for Ulick's bravery that such food was found. Ulick was a fine example of a strong and healthy Grell like the Grell of long ago. And the divination? Sometimes we forget to look beyond ourselves and the walls that we create around us in our small, safe world. Yet there is more out there to explore, and who knows where it will lead you. Find a way through the constraints you imagine you have in your life to new ways of doing things. You may find yourself guiding and nurturing others who need your expertise, compassion, or knowledge in the coming weeks. I think that one's for you, Alexis.
Thanks, darling. That actually hits home a lot. So thank
Ah.
you. I wonder why.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's just magic. Yeah, that they have become definitely my favorite cards.
Oh,
They're
that's lovely to
just,
hear.
yeah. And I really, I don't know how much more I can say to hopefully, uh, you know, make it, it's just, it's important to let our stuff out into the world. I'm
Mm.
being reminded of this. And when we like, the fact that you even did this, I mean, I've painted stuff and I have things just hanging around, and I'm about to start at the markets in April, and I'm
Oh,
just going to
wow.
start seeing if anyone, they're going to be there if anyone wants to buy them, because there's not much point in just doing it and then they just sit. The energy
Yeah.
is meant to be shared.
Yep.
And that is what I love, that you, even though, we talk about not wanting to sell and,
Oh,
just
yeah.
creating. I mean, I love creating too, but sometimes creating, there's more to the process than we stop it. We've birthed something into the physical. That's it. Done. Sometimes we actually need to take it another step, and that is letting people know,
Mm.
sharing it with other people. And this is why I love stories so much, because stories have so much power to them. And when you share the stories with others, they will
Mm.
receive whatever messages that they actually need to receive. And these cards are stories. Like everything
Mm.
that we write, everything that we create, they carry a story. And
Yeah.
that is what is, part of our legacy, is to actually share that with others. Because if we only keep it to ourselves, then it doesn't go anywhere. It stagnates and dies. Well, that energy,
Mm.
I mean, energy never really dies. It just transforms. But wouldn't it be amazing just to see, this is what I have.
Yeah.
Here, world, do with it what you will. And I mean, it's sad that your mum created so much. And I love her manuscript. That sounds amazing.
Mm.
And unfortunately, not everyone is going to see the divinity or the magic that is encapsulated in what we create. And I think there are lessons in the fact that, people don't appreciate a lot of things. I think if we could all appreciate everyone's gifts, then, wouldn't it be a more magical world? Like
Oh,
people
yeah,
would
it would be.
actually be happier because they're not looking for that thing outside themselves. They just go, okay, I'm cool, I'm good, and what else is there?
Yeah.
But being okay with who you are right now. So
Yep.
anyway, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, no, it's all good. Oh, look, I'm the the selling, the process of self-publishing is it was quite a long-winded process this time around. It takes a while to get it all right. And there were delays overseas getting publish it, everything across
Mhm.
once they'd been done. So, it was a while ago that they were created.
Mhm.
And, it's funny, the excitement when you get it all, you've signed your documents and you've sent them all off and you think, oh my goodness, it's so exciting and amazing and fabulous, and we're going to do this and that and everything else.
Yeah.
And then time lapses because they haven't arrived.
Mhm.
Um, and so when you get them, it's like, oh yeah, okay.
It's you've lost
Um,
momentum.
yeah, I'd lost momentum. And when I did start to feel a bit of a thrill again when I opened a box and,
Mm.
deboxed and gave some to two friends of mine. And,
Mm.
that was exciting. And I have to admit, just as for anybody thinking of self-publishing,
Mhm.
go for it. But it's financially scary. It's
Mhm.
um, scary to put yourself out there as well. but it's also so satisfying, particularly with the Oracle cards. I don't know whether you can see, I've got my Oracle cards on that second shelf, and I put my Oracle card box usually next to famous people like Alana
Oh.
Fairchild and Lucy Cavendish.
Yes, yes,
It's
that's where they need to
hilarious.
be.
Oh,
Yes.
it's yeah, it's very funny. You know, even the Ancients book, my own copy, sits up on the shelf above, next to Deepak Chopra. So and Louise
Excellent.
Hay. So yeah, it's very funny. So that was my thrill,
Mhm.
you know, to say, oh yes, I have actually created something. But yeah, for me, it's learning a new skill around how to sell and where to go to sell them. So that's been baby steps for me. And look, I'm not necessarily in a huge hurry to sell everything all at once, but that's part of the self-publishing side of things. That's, you don't necessarily get the tools to do that. It's sort of left up to you how you go about it, which is fair enough. But it's for me, having that connection with Holistic Bliss magazine and doing an article every month, which I have to do, I've forgotten.
I've got too many articles. I don't know which, like, what should I choose today? I don't know. I'll figure that out later.
Yeah, yeah, doing that and you know, working alongside Vanessa Finnegan has just been an incredible experience, and you know, meeting a whole bunch of new people and getting ideas from them on how to do things. They're all very, very wise women and some men, and you know, they're all just incredible at what they do, and so I feel really honoured and privileged to be writing for them. Yeah, so that's, for me, that's been a big step, to, you know, you've got to force yourself to sit down and do something creative, because sometimes I don't. And, you know, you've got to sit down, and although I wander around and go, no, I'm not ready to write an article yet. No, it hasn't come to me yet. No, 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 no. And then all of a sudden I'll wake up in the middle of the night and go, oh yeah, okay, now I've got an idea. Yeah, so it's kind of how I work. You
Yeah.
know,
My
can't
way of
force it.
going is, yeah, you definitely can't force it. I just write because sometimes I get these ideas and I'll just say I write pages and pages and then there's some days I write nothing and I'm like there's no, I need to be in the flow, otherwise it doesn't work. And I've got my book that I'm in the process of, which is going to take a bit longer because I was just going to do an ebook. I was going to do like a short.
Yeah, fantastic.
Well, I sent it to my girlfriend who's known me for more than 20 years, and she said to me, you need to go deeper,
Oh,
basically. I'm
wow.
like, oh, so instead of just a short story, it's turning into my story, my journey, much bigger than just say, oh, this is how I moved to the bush. No, no, no. It's going to be more. I'm like, crap. And it's basically life
Wonderful.
is asking me to give more. I'm like, am I ready for this? I don't know.
Yes, you are.
But
Yes, you are.
it now will take a little bit more structure because
Mm.
I tend to only write when I feel the call. I don't, I can't, like, I'll sit here and I'll be like, got this bit of paper and there's nothing.
Mhm.
Then there's other times I'm doing other things and the words are just going, "Oh," and I'm like, I don't what I don't have a pen and paper handy,
Mhm.
just chill. And I'll actually put out a bit of a message saying, hey guys, can you just hold on until I can get, or it's not the time for it. Can you wait till I have space? And then it'll come down. But I I sometimes wonder if because I see all these other people and then I go into comparisonitis and I think, oh, I'm not, I don't have a direction or a focus and I'm not specific about, what is it that I'm sharing, but the things that I write about cover like this because this is life. And then how are you supposed to pinpoint what it is you need to share? Because I have so much to say. So that my issue is I've got about 3 or 4 articles already written. I have to decide which one to put in for next month because I don't know. But I also am trusting that this week, my idea is to have it, because I always send it in early. I'll have it sorted by the end of the week, so by Easter, and I will know. I will just go, yep, this one, type it all up because I find, okay, this is about me. I find that when it comes to writing or, creating, I need to put pen to paper. That is how I get downloads, or, years ago, I used to do, question, and I'd put out a question to the universe and then I would get a response and I'll go, I've tried to do it with a computer. It just doesn't have the same magic. It's not the same. So I just will transcribe what I have into the computer, type it up, done. But isn't that funny? Anyway, so that was a bit about me.
That's all good. That's all good.
Yes. But I'll be interested to hear, or read, I should say, when you do decide what it is that you want to share. Because I feel that you do have a lot to share, and it's just a matter of what is it that you feel called to share. Because, as I said, we all have stories, but it's a matter of what story is coming up. It's almost like, because everything's kind of a bit like an ocean, and you've got all this buried treasure and all this magical stuff underneath. It's a matter of what is coming up to the surface, ready to actually be exposed for others to see. But the rest of it, like, there's always more. But
I think everyone has that. Everybody, that's the amazing thing. We're all stories, all of us walking around. We're all walking through our masterhood. Each life we do our little bit for expanding our consciousness. So yeah, and I've already got the story in my head. It's fine. I've just gotta plunk it down on got to find it, because I'm similar. I've got stuff everywhere that I've written, and I've just got to find the bit that I want to write about, and then I'll connect it up and join the dots. It'll be fine.
Do you know what I've started doing? Just as an aside, I've got these little sticky tabs that you just put on, and anything that I've got that relates to specific ideas that I've got, I put the same color tab, and then I've got other ones that I go, oh, that's an article or something, and I'll put a little tab next to it. Sometimes I have it and I have to go back through my books and find it. But it's made a little bit easier recently, because I've only started doing it recently. Right. And it's like, oh, actually that makes it, I can see what I'm doing. And it's almost like hunting for buried treasure. And when I have those little markers, it's, oh, there's the treasure. Now, is that the treasure I want today? Yes or no? No. Okay. Just carry on. Yeah, it's fun.
That's fabulous.
Yes, it is. All right. Anything else? Is there...
if anyone would like to buy the Oracle cards, and I might even be putting the book up, you can either Instagram me, just put in a little personal message, like one of my things. I used to do the Fridge Magnet Oracle on Instagram. So that's there. There's also purchase my cards on MyOracleCards.etsy.com. So
I'll put some links in the description. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the interview. It was very quick.
It
was very quick.
Well, I appreciate your time, and we'll wrap that up. So thank you, everybody. I'll put the links for Sharne into the description. And I shall see you next time. So,
bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.